Hello, everyone. This is Nicole Robinson coming to you again with another episode of Meet the Mustangs. Tonight, I have the pleasure of talking to Drew Cirino, number 14 of the Connecticut Mustangs. So, how are you doing today, Drew?
I'm good. How are you today, Nicole?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Beautiful day today, honestly. Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold, so that was perfect.
Absolutely.
So before I ask you anything about football, let me ask you, how are you handling yourself during this pandemic? It's a really crazy time, and a lot of people have been affected in a negative way, and some people are saying they were affected, but it kind of was a little bit positive for them. So how is it affecting you and your family, and how are you guys handling that?
Um, Family wise, we're just trying to, stay as connected as we can be. We actually had a loss right before the pandemic. My grandmother actually passed away.
Oh, sorry to
Um,
hear that.
thank you. But it's been really nice that the families, stayed together. We've had a few birthdays, which were nice. So we did a few of those little drive-by parades and everything, which my uncle really loved. So yeah, just trying to stay as connected as we can, for friends and everything, just online and phone calls as much as you can, texting and trying to stay in each other's lives and,
Exactly.
as much as you can without seeing each other.
Exactly. Got to keep some positive going through all this, negativity that we're seeing, in the world. So, why don't you just start with telling me a little bit about yourself? Like, where were you born, raised? What are some of the things that you like to do as a child?
So I was born and raised in Naugatuck, Connecticut,
Okay.
a little bit from where the Mustangs play, but always in the area. Um, I lived there my whole life, went to high school there. Um, Growing up, passion was still the passion that it is today. It's football. My it was funny. My parents even said growing up, they were like, we bought you all these Tonka trucks and you know all these little things that they thought the baby would play with, and they come home and they'd see me in the corner just bouncing the ball around. So it's always been sports since I didn't even know what I liked, and once I did find out what I liked, it's been that ever
Hey,
since.
exactly. I was gonna say, hey, and look at you, you're still doing, still playing football. So clearly you knew what your passion was, and your parents were still trying to figure that out, but you told them at an early age, listen, it's football, and that's just what I'm gonna do.
Absolutely.
Did you play football in high school and college?
I did. So I played at Naugatuck High School
Hmm.
for 4 years. I was a 3 year starter, captain my senior year, and helped lead our team to one of the best seasons we had in a long time and NVL championship. And
Nice.
then I ended up playing. I got a scholarship down in North Carolina to Brevard College. Um, and after a few family matters, I got a little freaked out when my father had a heart attack. So I ended up coming
Oh,
back up here to finish my last 3 years at Western Connecticut State University, which, it turned out to actually be one of the best things for me. It was nice to be able to have my friends and family back at the games and in the stands to play in front of them and, to be back in my home state. And, couldn't get
yeah.
any better.
Yeah, definitely. When you're playing in those games, it's definitely good to see those familiar faces that have been with you from childhood. I'm sure you had friends at Brevard, but it's nothing like your family being there to cheer you on. So, like you said, that was a good thing for you.
Mhm.
So let me ask you, what made you want to play semi-pro football besides for the love of football, and what made you want to do it with the Mustangs?
So for why I wanted to play semi-pro football, it was honestly just a continuation of that love. In college, you get 4 to 5 years of eligibility, and
Mhm.
then it just kind of ends, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um, but that love never does, and it I took about a year off, just because honestly I didn't even know about semi-pro. Um, and I just kept, trying to fight for, a way to get back into the sport. I tried coaching, but not to say that it wasn't what I wanted it to be, but when you're still able to get out there and play and do all the things that you could do, it's hard sitting on the sideline.
No, I definitely understand that.
And so one of my friends actually found SemiPro for me and turned me onto it. And ever since then, I've been getting to continue what I love to do. And with the Mustangs, one, it was about being nice and close to home again, and getting to kind of play in front of a community that I knew, as well as they were a very good team. I like to do my research, and they had a good culture there. A lot of former players had some very good things to say about the organization, as well as obviously all the recent success they had, which I'm pretty sure in the last like 5 years they have about 3 championships, and actually went to Florida to play for the national championship in one of the recent years too.
Nice. So it seems like like you said, you did your research, so you are basically coming on to a good team. And a lot of the guys, well, the newer guys that I've spoken with already this year, they pretty much say the same thing. Like, they heard great things about the Mustangs, and they just decided, what, let me try this organization, because a lot of organizations are out there, but it's when people don't have nice positive things to say about them, then something that you're like, nah, I'm not gonna get myself into. So I think that you guys will go a long way. And you mentioned the championships. Everyone keeps talking about you guys coming home with that championship this year. So, well, God willing that we're able to get out there on that field, and they're saying, yep, we're coming home with that championship. So, I'll be in the stands rooting for you guys too. So how long have you been playing semi-pro ball right now? Like, how many years have you been playing?
So semi-pro, this will be my 3rd year playing semi-pro.
Okay. And how many years do you feel like you have left in you to play? Like, is it you're going to just play till, the wheels fall off? Or do you have like a set time where you say, you know what, I feel like at this time or this age, I want to, stop playing the semi-pro league and focus on something else?
With that, I never really had a set day or any time planned for when I would stop. Obviously, if if the body doesn't let you, that's one thing. But as long as the body lets me, and until the day I step out on that field and there's not that at home feeling,
Yeah.
then I don't think I'll hang it up till that day.
I understand that. Can I ask how old you are?
26, turning 27.
Okay, so you're still pretty young, so you have a lot of fight left in you.
Still a little tread on these tires.
So, what position do you play?
On offense, I play running back's my main position. That's what I've played my entire life growing up. But in college, I also learned to play slot a little bit. So that would be my secondary position. And on the defensive side, through high school, I played linebacker and safety.
Okay, so I am familiar with all those terms, and I'm sure everyone else is, except for the one you said, slot. What exactly is that?
So the slot receiver, they're usually the 3rd receiver in.
Okay.
If you look at football, you have to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage, 5 linemen, and then 2 receivers.
Okay.
Generally, looking at the field, the wide receivers are usually the 2 outside most guys that are, at the same playing level on the field when you start as the lineman. The slot usually splits the difference between one of them, is a little bit more off the ball, like a Wes Welker type guy.
Okay, cool. No, I mean, I like doing these interviews because I'm getting familiar with some of the terms that that I'm not familiar with. I mean, I'm not, deep into sports, but I do know a thing or two about sports. Like I mentioned, Deshaun being my brother, he played football, so I dibbled and dabbled in that. So, but I know the basics, like the linebacker, the running back, wide receiver. But when you start talking about the other things, I have to, what is that again?
That's all right.
But, so, besides for the love of football, just because you love the game, what else do you wish to get out of playing with the Mustangs?
Hoping for a championship. Um, but besides for that, just kind of get a little self-healing. The football fields, like I said, it's kind of like a home. And for a lot of players, it's a place to kind of escape. You
Yeah.
know, when you're on that, 100 yards, there's no problems, there's no issues. There's your brothers and the people you're going against.
Yeah.
And it's simple and it's beautiful in that way. So,
That's pretty cool.
getting to kind of share that. And also, I feel like because I've played for about 22 years. So I feel like I have a decent amount of knowledge, and to be able to, pass that on to others and, help my teammates and other players. And, I know the Mustangs do some community work too, which
Yeah.
I very much, liked. So I believe they do a few things with, some of the youth, and, be able to one day to, with the Mustangs, be able to pass that knowledge on to the youth would be really nice too.
Oh, that's good. Like there's not a lot of positive, male role models in some of the areas where our youth are coming up. So it's always nice to see you guys doing stuff for the community and doing stuff for the youth, because although you don't realize it, there's always someone looking up to you. It could even be your teammate, like who's on the same level as you, and you don't realize that you're being an inspiration to this guy that's playing next to you every day. So it's nice to always have that positive outlook. So I do commend you for that. That's something that you want to get out of this organization so that you can give back, because it's not just about you. It's about, you realize it's about like you helping others. So definitely commend you for that. So besides football, what else occupies your time? Like, what else do you like to do? You said you wanted to give back to youth, and you didn't say to like my son or something. So I'm assuming you don't have any kids right now.
No, no kids.
So I'm assuming no kids, and kids take up a lot of time. So besides the football, what other hobbies do you have? Like, I know you work and you do football, but what else do you like to do with your time that people may not know about you?
Um, I want to be able to give a good answer, but sports has pretty much been it. If it's not playing football, me and my friends, we like to, we'll get like a bucket of baseballs and we go out, we like to throw the ball around, play home run derby.
Nice.
If there's no fields open, we always got a basketball in the car. We'll go play horse, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, shoot some hoops. And, if it's just more of a relaxing day, we might even, go out to the golf course and, play
Oh.
like 3 holes, just any kind of sport, anything competitive, anything with a ball. That's usually
But that's
my
good
type
because
of free time.
yeah, it's good because it keeps you active. Also, it's you don't get stagnant, you don't get stale at any sport. And sometimes people don't realize playing other sports helps you perfect the craft of the sport that you love. So
Absolutely.
exactly. So where do you see yourself next? Right after you finish your time with the Mustangs, what do you see yourself doing to fill that void of not playing football anymore?
So probably after the playing days, the plan is I'm in the process of becoming a personal trainer.
Nice.
So I would love to eventually work with a team in that aspect as well as with coaching. And then maybe even one day open up a facility for athletes to get trained.
Oh, that's very interesting. And that's pretty much some of the purpose of this interview, because you never know who's going to watch this interview, and you never know who can reach out to you and get you started on that aspect of saying, hey, I know a spot that you can rent to start your training, and you can get your foot in the door that way. So hopefully these interviews are exactly what some of you guys need, because some other guys mentioned some of the things that they wanted to do once they leave. And we're hoping that these interviews are like that, kind of like that gateway to saying, okay, yeah, I'm trying to get more people to support me right now on the field, but based on what I'm saying, maybe one of those supporters will be able to help me after I come off the field. So you never know. I always say speak stuff into existence and it shall happen.
Absolutely.
So my last thing to ask you tonight is, what would you like to add to this interview for anybody watching to know who Drew Cirino is?
Um, hmm, just a normal kid. I was never for anyone watching, you don't always have to be the biggest kid. I was never the biggest. I was never the strongest, the fastest, the smartest. But you can make a lot of your own luck and your own destiny. Um, growing up, I was always the small kid. I was never thought to play in corner, but I always did. Um, going in high school, I wasn't picked to play my freshman year, and I ended up, getting a varsity spot by sophomore year and team captain, a championship, and a scholarship after that, and then, you know, going to college and playing. So, for kids who think that it's not in the cards for them or anything, you can make it in the cards for you. And sometimes bad things happen in life, and it's a beautiful way this game could heal a lot of people.
Definitely.
From losing my father and my grandmother recently, that this is what that game does for me.
Definitely.
And, if I could help anyone else with that, and, that'd be a blessing.
I definitely appreciate that. So there you guys have it. Coming from Drew, you can basically choose your own destiny. It's, you do what you have to do and things will fall into place. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day today to do this interview with me. And this concludes another episode of Meet the Mustangs with Drew Cirino, number 14 of the Connecticut Mustangs.